All right, lads, I'm Donohoe.
Hey guys, I'm Rob Vieira.
Hey guys, Jimmy B.
This is the Naked and Famous podcast, and we're back with a special guest, one of the owners and chef of Jack's Bar in Eastchester, Brendan Donohoe.
Weighing in at 455 pounds. The king
The
of the world.
king of the ring, the lion master.
Hung like a horse. How's it going, boys? Thanks very much for having me here now.
Yeah,
Finally, after all your hounding me on Instagram
Man,
for...
woof.
Jesus Christ.
You've
There's
been
no saying no to this fella, is there?
And you've been hounding the shit out of
Tell
him
that to
now.
all my exes.
Fucking
So how long have you been hounding Brendan to get him on the show?
Man, since before we decided to do the show, he was the first person who I was like, you know what, I want to get Bren on.
This is episode 6? 5, 6?
So
Oh,
it's
shit.
8 weeks of pure torture for me.
No,
Yeah.
before 8 weeks, or at least week 10. At least 10 weeks.
Every
Hey.
night I finish work, 10 o'clock, I know there's a blind pig message on my Instagram. It's like worse than having another wife.
Yeah, and honestly, I hit him up from other Instagram accounts as well.
Oh, yeah.
Say bombard him, hit him from every
One of
angle.
many.
One of many. Keep you on your toes. Man, it would have been good crack to get Keith on as well. We'll have to get him on down once he's
I think that should be a Christmas special.
a Christmas special.
Oh,
Keith's
Christmas
bracking at the
special.
Christmas special
We
in
gotta
a
do
in a
that.
thong.
Yeah, it's coming
Christmas
up.
special in a year.
One-
Yeah.
But you know, he did just have a kid, so obviously he's a very busy man. As if he wasn't busy enough already.
He'd probably bring the kid.
Would he?
He probably.
Well, so let's get down to it, Bran. Give us your how it all began. How you ended up in the kitchen.
I was sitting in bed last night. I was reminiscing, lad. You had me up to about 3 a.m. I was like, you brought me back to some strange places, I tell you. But I was 16. It was back in 1960. No, he messed. It was. I got offered a job as a dishwasher by my best mate Theo Croak, and this is how long ago it was.
Theo Croak from works in the
Yeah,
man.
best
he's-
mate owns Stout in Manhattan.
Yeah.
And he wrote me a map to this place. It was Slade Valley Golf Course, but he wrote it on like pen and paper on a piece of paper, like no phones, no nothing, no GPS. So I get my little hairdryer moped, and it's raining, so all the pens getting smurred. Now, if you know anywhere like Dublin is east, I should have been going up the Dublin Mountains. Clane is back into the arsehole of Kildare. I ended up in Clane.
Right.
In a petrol station.
In the middle
I
of
was like,
nowhere.
am I near Slade Valley? And they're just like laughing at me. I was like, for fuck's sake. So I left early, but like, so I still had time. So anyway, I found my way back to the house, picked up the house phone on the cord. It's like, Theo, man, please bring me up here, will you? I don't want to let this fella down. And so Theo, like one of those guard escorts, I'm following him, two of us on our little mopeds. Pissing rain. I hit a ramp, fall over the fucking thing. In the middle of like, there was cars around everything. Caught all my hands. There was all, little bits of tar in your hands.
The worst.
The worst.
Pebble dashed.
Get there, have to stick my hands into all this hot water and shit, but did it anyway. And I just started watching the chefs. And I was like, holy shit, they're cool looking. And I was just watching them with the flames and stuff like that. And this place was like a family-run establishment, and he had his 2 kids working, one in the kitchen, one on the floor. He had his wife doing the bar, and I was like, "Holy shit, lads! This is what I would love in the future. Family run, your 2 kids running around like as waiters, whatever."
How old was his kids, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, Jack was in the kitchen. He was about, Jesus, should I say this? He was about 12, like, but he was helping out,
Of course.
prepping and stuff.
Yeah.
His wife, Michelle. Oh, shout out to Terry Kenny. He taught me the basics in chefing, like, main man. Still uses recipes to this day.
Nice.
Who else? And then he had then Greg Kenny, his other brother, he was a chef as well. And it was just like the way they talked to each other was like being at home with them, but running a really good restaurant.
What kind of food were they serving?
It was like it was a fancy golf place.
Nice.
So you do functions like you'd have your sea bass and your just stuff like that, It was high enough, and it was a great starting point for me. But
And you said this was when you were 16.
when I was 16, so I was dishwashing. After about 3 months, they were like, "Do you want to get behind the line?" I was like, 100%. I'll never forget my nanny and my dad. They were like, "Don't be a chef. Because you're stereotyped of being an alcoholic straight away. And I was playing soccer at a high level. Like I was playing for Rovers and Cherry Orchard on a Sunday morning. So I was like, I'd have to leave that.
They're some of the best teams in the country.
Yeah, well, in Ireland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
in that country.
yeah, it was a high enough standard. I was never gonna make it, but it was all right. Like I had a good left foot, and so that was my dad was like, he used to love going to watch me, bringing me to the games. So I had to drop that. So my dad was like, "Fuck, you're gonna be stuck in the kitchen the rest of your life," you know. So
Look at you now, stuck in the kitchen.
look at me now, I'm still stuck in the fucking kitchen, but now I have a microphone on my face, and I feel like I made it now. Cheers, that. Cheers, that. Yeah. Well, Slade Valley, yeah. And then from there, I just started like learning the shit, you know. And then after a couple of months, the head chef would leave after a while, and we got hit one Sunday night. I call it Sunday, Bloody Sunday. I still have the scars on my wrists.
This is the specific Sunday where
The Pacific Sunday where I was left in charge. Thinking I knew what I was doing.
Always
Man,
the way.
Was it your first time in charge?
First time in charge. And for some reason, there was a golf outing and about, 80 people walked in, weren't prepped. And I'll never forget, right, lads? I was looking over and I was working with just a young kid and fucking the two of us were looking at each other going, we just don't know what the fuck to do here. And there was a fan of melon on the menu, right? And I look across, and he's got the scallion and the chiffonade red onion, and he's putting red onion around the melon. I was like, oh my god, oh my god! I was like, Jesus Christ, we're fucked. And so I thought about it then. That was my first, like, geez, do I want to do this kind of moment? You know, I'm sure you have them all the time.
Oh man, you always get them. We were talking about that the other day actually, because one of our newest guys, Dave. He's on our bar now. He's the newest member who's joined the bar end of the team. He came from the floor. And the other day, I came in and he had a full bar for lunch, which doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen.
Yeah.
But I seen it was his first time serving everybody at once. And I could see the beads of sweat rolling down his head. And I was like, oh, he's having one of them moments where he's like, fuck, what am I doing?
Did you just leave him at it and go, he needs this? Or?
Man, I walked up to one dude at the end of the bar who asked for a black and tan. And Dave never heard of a black and tan.
Yeah.
So I was like, I got you with the... I knew he wanted a black and tan. So I was, from when I came in, he was having one the day before. I was like, you want a black and tan? He was like, oh, he doesn't know how to make it. I was like, I got you. So I went back and I got him the black and tan just to leave him slightly. But I was watching him. I was like, this is the moments that build character.
It's the moment that it's like you actually get the feel of what you're doing. You get that muscle memory, and it's like it's only the first time that it's rocky like that, and then after that you're like,
it takes
been
6
here,
months to
done that.
realize I needed that.
Oh, yeah, man.
I needed that. You know,
you gotta
what I
be
mean?
thrown in the fire.
That feeling...
I needed to prep that salmon more. I needed back up this more. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And the feeling, getting around. You're always in this industry, I feel like, gonna have moments where you're absolutely fucking slammed.
Yeah.
And you're always gonna get that feeling of like, fuck, we're in the shits. But it's being used to that feeling. Being comfortable in that situation, being like, it's just another... Like, at this point, when it happens to me, me and James worked Halloween this year by ourselves, and we got rocked. But it was me and him, and we looked at each other, and we were basically like, we got this, let's rock this out. And it was very busy.
It was.
But it went super smooth because me and him, like, you know, worked together, and we're like, let's bang this out. But you definitely need them moments where it's like, fuck.
100%.
The sense of urgency is real. Like on that same day, I was monitoring the tickets. I was doing the service, then I was doing the rest of the bar pretty much. And like the tickets are coming out, and I'm just banging through them. And then I put the tickets down, and I like look at the clock, and it's been like the ticket has been out for like 2 minutes. I'm like, that's all. Like 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, we got this. This is good.
Exactly.
But again, the sense of urgency can't diminish. It's not like you can take your foot off the gas and be like, it's fine.
Yeah.
You're just like, okay, we're in the shits. Fucking keep going. It's like you have to stay ahead of it all the time, don't you?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
You can tell the people that haven't been in that fire yet because they'll just be lollygagging around, not prepared, and it's like you don't know that a hit can walk through this door at any second, and you should have all your mise en place ready to go.
Yeah,
Exactly, man.
I think of it like also like it's yourself like the first time you're scrambling around, you don't know where to go, you don't know where to look. A year later, it's like you're literally doing a dance. Like you just start dancing in the kitchen. You just jump from station to station. It's the rhythm. You get it. You know, first time 2 left feet. The next time you're dancing. You got it. You know.
Yeah.
But in them moments, that's fun also. When you're taking that moment down and you know as it's coming to you that you're winning the battle, sometimes that's real good crack where you're like, I know everyone's like, holy fuck, this place is busy. I know this guy's working his ass off, but he looks like he's having a good time. And in that moment, you're like, I got this.
Yeah.
You know, that's when it's good.
And that ticket machine, he's going, come on, I got you.
You hear those things in your dreams eventually, man.
You
I
feel-
actually have one in my room.
Yeah.
It's like therapy.
that's your alarm clock. Yeah, right?
That's
So you wake up.
Yeah, speaking of that, it was a quick sidetrack. Have you seen The Bear?
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
the
I've
most
seen it.
realistic chef in show I've ever
Have you seen this, Rob?
I have seen it. Yes, I have. I love it. It does give you a taste of the life of how it is. You know, those nights, those days when you come out of there. I'm sure we all had it. You walk out the restaurant and you're just like, what the hell am I doing? You know, like, is this it? And you wake up and you do it again. It's the
So
life.
intense. You can feel like when he goes outside for the smoke, I'm inhaling his smoke. You know what I mean? Fuck, I hate this fucking place. You know what I mean? He's brilliant. He's brilliant.
I had a funny story. It was like my first week at the Cheesecake Factory. I was living in Idaho, and I don't know if you guys seen the show, but there's this one point where like the girl's like, I got it, and she drops the whole container of sauce, and it was like a Canberra of sauce. That happened to me in my first week in the Cheesecake Factory, and it was the most embarrassing thing. Like, it was on the top rack, and I'm talking about like the ceilings were as high as these.
Was it
ceilings.
hot?
And no, it was a cold sauce, thank God. But it was embarrassing. I figured I had to clean it up. Cheesecake Factory has so many employees. They're like, don't worry about it. And I just felt that shame that she felt right there. You know, like
Yeah.
your whole
Yeah.
thing just comes crashing down. It's just like, damn,
Yeah.
how did I let that happen? But that scene, man, I resonated with that scene so much.
That's what a good show does. Like, you relate to things. That's why I think it's the closest thing I've seen from a real kitchen.
How did you deal with this Sunday, the Bloody Sunday?
Oh yeah, back to that. We were just screwed, man, and we were so young, you know. And like, it was no one's fault. It was just there was people came that weren't supposed to be there. And
How
I
dare they
remember
come
going down the
for
back,
service?
sitting on the stairs, like, and I had all these bad burns. I had ice packs on my thing. The young fella there beside me, and we're just like, fuck, do I really want to do this anymore, you know? But then got the pep talk off my grey head chef the next morning, and he goes, "This will make a man of you." And
Sounds like an Al Pacino fucking Any Given Sunday kind
sounds
of
like
pep
the
talk.
fucking bear.
Sounds like The Bear.
I was the first bear. And
Who's the big bear?
Can you run us back in the pep talk? Like, can you remember any
Dan.
specifics?
it's just like
I
we were just talking about. It's like that was your first time in the shits, so you never forget it. That's why I labeled the day Sunday, Bloody Sunday. But it was horrendous. Like, and obviously I wasn't happy with the food that was going out. I just didn't want to make anyone unhappy. Didn't want to lose customers. Didn't want to get him back to the head chef. Worrying about all that, and when you're like that age, it's like,
Big deal.
oh shit! Back on my little moped, then exhaust hanging off, crying on the way home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where did it go from there?
Then everything was good. Then I started learning more stuff in Slade Valley, and then they wanted me to go down to this Osprey Hotel in Nace. That was my first experience in like a full whack kitchen. All the chef and their whites. Oh, lads.
Ooh.
First thing I do. So the knives were sharper than the ones we used in the golf course. And I had to slice apples, like brunoise, very small. And I'm there, I'm kind of nervous. Slice the thumb off. About half an inch off the top. And you know, you're meant to put it into ice and all that. Straight into the garbage. And I was just like, started getting mad, lightheaded, went all white. And
Hold on,
Taller
hold on,
man.
hold on, hold on. Let's go back. You cut half an inch off your thumb and you just threw your thumb into the garbage?
yeah, because I didn't want anyone to see. I
have a
wanted to
similar
carry on.
story.
What
And then
the
I'm putting,
fuck?
I have like a tissue wrapped around that, and there's just that much blood. Is like, oh shit. So then I started getting lightheaded, and I was like, I'm gonna have to slice my thumb off. They were like, I'm down there just like to learn, not to work, just to learn. And they're like, oh my god, you imagine how they felt. And then so off to hospital I go, get the old needle in the arse. Yeah, that was a bad one.
Yeah,
That-
sounds-
They thought you got an STI from the.
Yeah,
That's crazy, right?
yeah.
That pain.
Nice shot of penicillin for you.
Yeah.
That pain, man. I cut the tip of my finger off one time. It's funny because I didn't throw it in the garbage. The line cook next to me was just like, "Oh," and then just tossed it into the garbage. The tip of my finger. But that throbbing pain, bro. It's just nonstop. You just
And
feel
you
like
I could see the little, I don't know
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Horrible.
It's
Yeah.
it's
You'd be
hard.
a fucking psycho. If I had cut the top of my thumb off, I'd be like, fucking stitch this shit back on right now.
It was
I
sitting
went-
on the board. It was all like pale.
Bro, I ran downstairs. And I'm just like, fuck. And the manager at the time comes down. He's like, what happened? I'm like, cut the tip of my finger off. He's like, vodka? I'm like, yes, right now. Like, so he grabs the vodka, and I'm just like, I remember he went upstairs, grabbed the vodka, I sit back on the wall, and I just slide down to my ass, and I'm just like, what the fuck did I just do to my finger?
Yeah.
Shit.
And it's just throbbing. I can feel that pain. He comes down, and finally I take it off. I look at it, I'm missing like literally like this much of my finger. I just hit it with the vodka, cover it again. Brown sugar was to stop the bleeding because it wouldn't stop bleeding. I
Brown
had
sugar.
to-
No one told me that.
Literally had to throw brown sugar on there to stop the bleeding. Hospital. I went.
Why not
It
white
was
sugar?
bad. Huh?
Why not white sugar?
Racist.
I don't. It's too. It'll just fall apart. The brown sugar is like a little bit more pasty. You just
Right,
paste
right,
it
right,
on there
right.
and clamp it on.
What about
Sounds like a sticky toffee pudding.
A girl was licking my finger at the end of the night. Don't worry about it.
If you hit that-
Ready go? Jesus fucking white. Yeah, sorry, we're getting off track here. So where am I? I'm in the Osprey and Nice. Cut my thumb off. Has to get better from here. Jesus Christ. So yeah, I went to Slave Valley and then Osprey and Nice just for the day, and then at the time of my life I didn't know what I was doing, so I started going to Ayanapa for the summers.
Ayanapa is.
I
Cyprus.
remember this.
The holiday kind of.
You had a little doll with you, didn't you?
I will not bring that up. Jesus Christ.
A blow up doll?
Bren had a friend with him the whole time.
A blow up doll?
He had a little doll. What was her? Linda?
Was it? I don't know. I
Was
was
it
just
Linda?
guessing. It was, wasn't
You
it?
never heard about this?
Never, of course not, man.
Was it
No.
Linda?
Linda. Jeez, Brenda.
Brenda, I'm sorry.
Who the fuck's Linda? All right, well, I'll fly to the Brenda real quick. But we're getting off topic. But
No,
sure.
we're on topic, man. This is great.
All right.
I want to hear about Brenda.
So what happened was I went to Ayanapa, me and Theo again. We had no money. I'm about 17 now this day. Just finished the leaving cert, and this is how unorganized it was. We booked a hotel it wasn't even in Ayanapa. We went to a different town, Cyprus, a quiet little family town. We're like, where's all the parties at, you know? So anyway, got there, went into an Irish bar, got a job, and got fired. And I was like, right, I gotta go home, not making any money. And then I met a great group of people, and I lived with them. There was about 10 of us in a 3-bedroom thing, like absolute mess. People from the north of Ireland, great people, looked after me. So anyway, we're down the beach, and I have a bottle of vodka, just warm vodka, no mixer. And I find this doll, and I pick it up anyway, and I start pretending it's real and whatever because I'm drunk, and I'm starting a new job that night. I'm meant to be PRing outside this place, and that's grand. So I was that drunk, I brought the baby with me. Now, in about an hour, I had the place absolutely packed. I was going up to people, like, everyone was like, oh, is that your baby? I was like, yeah, that's Brenda. And then I was like, pretending, I was like, you have to, she's teething at the moment, so she's a little narky, had all these gimmicks. And this big Cypriot boss, like, Cypriot boys are scary lads, like, you know. And he comes up to me, he's like, you bring that fucking baby every fucking night this summer. So I was like, oh, shit. So anyway, I kept her for the whole summer, brought her clubbing every night. I'd lose her. And then, like, there'd be a couple of lads there, like, going, you're the freak with the baby, right? And they just throw it in my door, like, the next morning. She just kept coming back to me, you know? So anyway, 3 months passed. And then I went back next summer, brought her back again. And I still have her fucking 15 years later.
No way, really?
She saved my life. She saved my Cypriot dream.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I have a tattoo of her head right here. I have her name on my arse. So me and Brenda go back. Yeah, I brought her to Amsterdam 3 times and I didn't lose her. She's been everywhere with me, man.
Traveling the world.
Traveling the world, yeah.
Little
So
did she
shout
know.
out to Brenda. I know you're watching.
Shout out to Brenda. So what else happened in Cyprus?
I've only got one chefing experience in Cyprus. So me and this lad Omar from Cork, we're like heavy drinkers.
Omar?
Omar, yeah.
From Cork.
Yes, he was. He was kind of. I don't know. I think he was Indian. So he's dark. He's black hair, and he's the strongest Cork accent I've ever heard.
Brilliant.
Oh, it's amazing. So we just met. We hit it off.
That
straight
must have
away.
been gas in Iron Apple.
Oh man, he was a legend. Jesus Christ. I wonder where he is now. But anyway, we're again looking for a job, and I tell these guys in the restaurant I'm a chef. So we get a job slicing onions out the back. We're sitting on buckets slicing onions anyway. And Omar's crying his fucking eyes out. And I'm in bits because normally we'd have a few pints during the day, so I had the shakes from not drinking. It's like this is the most sober day we had like the whole summer. And then it's like then it starts getting busy. I step up to like I was doing the garlic breads or whatever. And then the tickets are coming in and someone orders a banana pizza.
A banana pizza.
A banana pizza. And
Sounds
I look at
amazing.
Omar.
Banana pizza.
I look at Omar, and he's still peeling onions because he doesn't know how to do anything else. I go, let's get the fuck out of here now.
So you never made the banana pizza?
Never.
Wait, what in the world is a banana pizza?
Yeah, well,
It can fuck right off is basically what
You
he's
tell
saying.
me. You fucking tell me.
So
That was the cutoff point for me.
it was
I
just
don't even
some-
know what a banana pizza is.
it was just
and
some random dish that was just thrown on the menu. So
maybe
pizza
it's
or banana.
part of. I don't even think it's part of Cypriot culture. I'm not even gonna lie, but yeah, there was a banana ticket for a banana pizza, man. I was like, man, I can't do this. So we worked for free all day, peeling onions and shit, and that was the last straw. That
Did
was
you say? I'm sorry to quick cross. Did you say no to making the banana pizza because it went against everything that you know, or just
was
because
just
I'm like
too much-
I don't know how to do this?
My mind
Fuck
was-
this. I'm out of here.
my mind was spinning as it was because it was my first time in the kitchen and I'm being in that state. Like we were just like alcoholics, like. So it was just like that just blew my mind.
Do you ever
I was
think
like,
maybe they were fucking with you?
what?
Do you ever think maybe they were like, send in a banana pizza?
That's what came through my mind. And they're probably like, man, we were joking.
next,
These guys
send in a
just
ticket
walked
for a
out.
long
We're
stand.
dying for these guys to quit. Let's
Yeah.
put in a banana pizza. That usually gets rid of them. Yeah, well, it worked.
Send in a long stand.
Yeah, and then we just kind of like threw our aprons in, and then there was no way out of just like running out the back, so we just had to walk past. And all the waitresses were like, what the fuck? Yeah, but that was the end of that.
Man.
Yeah, there wasn't much cooking going on in Cyprus, but it kind of goes back. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Wanted to enjoy myself and all that, but when I came back from Cyprus, I started working. Where was I next? Jesus Christ! I started working with Jerry Kenny. Shout out to him. That's Terry Kenny's brother. They're twins. Two amazing chefs. He helped me out a lot. And then I went to college, and that changed everything for me. I kind of like. Well, I wasn't ready to mature, but I was mature and like in the loving food. They'd be bringing pigs in. You'd learn how to
Spit roast a pig.
you learn the basics of all this. Excuse me. Spit roast and everything. Yeah, fell in love with food all over again with the college. Like there were so many great chefs there. There wasn't any age limit, so there was like I was the youngest in the class. But then I was with like this chef that was like head of a Japanese restaurant, and he was telling me all this, that, and the other. I just learned so much in that short space of time.
So what college was this?
This was Tala IT.
Tala IT.
Tea.
Yeah.
God bless the tea.
No, God bless it.
And they had a strong culinary program over there.
They still do.
They still
yeah.
do.
They still do. They're like full kitchens. They bring in not Irish celebrity chefs and stuff like that. You'd have different days with that, and like you do fish for a week, you do eggs for a week, you do bread for a week, full on. Tests at the end, blah blah blah. That was a great time. That was. I met a lot of good friends there. And then I got offered a head chef job in this little place called the Upper Deck in Blanchardstown.
Right.
And I didn't know what to do because I was like, am I ready for this? I took it because I wanted the money. They gave me a van, an Upper Deck van. I used to rally around that thing. They gave me a van and they gave me €500 a week, which at the time was great. But my mentors in college were like, don't take it, you're not ready. And I wasn't like, but obviously I seen the money, you know?
Of course.
And it was a tough decision.
And the van.
Well, the van now, yeah, that was the hook, line, and sinker. You know?
Right?
Yeah.
If someone offers you a van with a job, you're taking the job.
Yeah, but
At least
this,
for a day.
This actually had the upper deck, blah blah blah, on it, and then I'd fill it with 30 people after a night out in Leak Slip, and we'd be all like driving it through fields. Ah, Jesus Christ. Yeah, yeah, that was an experience. Jesus.
How did that
Christ.
go?
The upper deck was good. Now I'm getting to the stage where I'm like, right, I think I'm gonna go to. I came to America because Theo was here,
Right.
and so I left for America, and I was like full of confidence after being in college and stuff like that, you know. And I get here, and I get a job in Crooked Knife 30th Street. I think you've been there,
I
Ron.
love the crooked knife.
Yeah.
Pat
Get a
McKnight.
job in the Crooked Knife on 30th Street, and then you just start realizing the characters over here are different to back home. Like there was a chef called Ruski. He was Polish. He used to wear a SpongeBob. He was like a man baby, like he was like a kid. But I was so short on staff, we needed him, and he used to wear a SpongeBob backpack. It was like this size. I don't even know what he had in it, like. And he'd just come in, and he'd have a hat on and long bushy hair. And one day I caught him eating the cream out of the piping bag. The chantilly cream. I was like, Ruski, what are you doing? And he started swinging a knife at me. Like straight up as Bracken was there. I was
He
like,
was angry?
yeah.
He was
Like,
angry
he's
that
like, oh, he's a man baby, so I'm giving out to him like I'm his dad. And he's just like, he's there with the piping bag of the cream, and he's like a baby, you know? So anyway, he started swinging a knife, like, and I was like, holy shit. I stepped behind the line, he's like, you gotta fucking go.
How did you get him out of the kitchen?
He left. There was a couple of people in the kitchen then just to calm him down, but that was the end of
Hey,
him.
and Bracken was in the Crooked Knife with you.
Bracken was in the Crooked Knife with
Did he
me.
come to New York with you?
No, he came. You're dying to talk about him, right?
Yeah, we should probably give a background on who Keith Bracken is.
Let's do this, right? Let's talk about how I first met you, Bren, and we'll get back into it. Right? So, first night I meet Bren, I'm working where me and Jimmy B first met in Kirby's first bar, the Coachman's Inn on Katona Avenue. Crazy spot. Fucking the craziest spot I've ever worked in, full of absolute lunatics. But I didn't know that I was about to meet Bren, and at the time, we were all lunatics, right? So I'm behind the bar, working away. Bren comes in. He comes in with Keith Bracken. Keith Bracken is another lad from League Slip who I met at the same time as Bren. He's also a chef. He's a gentleman, hilarious character, one of the best you can meet. Great cook. He cooked me one of the best steaks I've ever had.
Amazing.
Actually, in the Coachman's Inn. Brought a steak in one time while he was bananas and went into the back and cooked it for me and was like, I told you I'm a good chef. I was like, yeah, my fella. But,
Cool.
so the lads walk in and I'm like, no way, these boys are from Dublin. I'm like, what's the story, lads? They're like, what's the story? I'm like, they have, the League Slip accent is very close to the Dublin accent. Like it's almost.
We're actually
identical.
from Kildare,
Yeah, Kildare.
but it's very close.
It's very close. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, right, these are Dublin lads. I'm like, what's the story? How you doing? Nah. We're having a bit of crack. I would say in the first 30 seconds, they asked me, give me 3 Captain Morgan and Cokes. It might have been orange, but I didn't have orange.
Oh, it was orange.
Yeah.
Captain
So,
Morgan's an orange. Yeah.
Captain Morgan's an orange. The
my
lads
my
were on
Achilles heel.
it. The lads were on it. So I walk in, I'm like, all right, 3. Like, I'm thinking there's more of them coming because it's 6 drinks. Right? The lads, as Brian said, like, he had been in Iron They're telling me the stories. Later on in the evening, I didn't realize what I was getting into. So the lads, 6, no problem, bam, 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 6, 2 of them. Right off the bat, within a minute and 30 seconds, 1, 2, 3. Just like that. 1, 2, 3. They look at me, vomit. 2 of them, simultaneously, vomit.
Oh yeah.
At the same time.
Well, he got sick, and then obviously I'm gonna get sick looking at him getting sick.
Is that what really happened? Or did you get sick and then he
I
got sick looking
swear
at
to
you
God,
get sick?
I normally don't get sick, but if I see someone else getting sick,
Is that the
Right. So I meet these 2 blokes. They walk in. I'm like,
Speaking of
these
getting
are
sick.
sound. 6 drinks. I think there's more of them coming. Yak all over the ground right there on the spot. And I'm like, fuck.
But-
I go to get something to clean it. I come back, the 2 boys are cleaning it. They're like, we got you. I'm like, all right, they got it, whatever.
nice drunks.
Right? Then they asked me for more Captain Morgans. I'm like, all right, grand, no bother. More Captain Morgans.
No.
That night went on where I was like, right, these 2 cunts are great crack. Great, like, it was probably, at the time I was 20. Shouldn't have kept serving them. Looking back on it, like, if someone done that now, I wouldn't save them. At the time, I was just like, friends. Like, you know.
Yeah.
But then they start telling me the stories about Iron Napa, and I was like, these blokes are like my mates at home. Like, we're all on the same buzz here where they're just like lunatics. But anyway, so we get back to
No, we're gonna leave Bracken because he's gonna come here
right.
and he's gonna do his thing, right? We
Right.
don't want to steal any of his.
None of his shimmer.
Exactly.
There's
Right.
thunder.
So you're back in the Crooked Knife kitchen.
Back in the Crooked Knife, I did 3 years head chef on 30th Street, and then I was down on 14th Street. I did 3 years there, but I just want to bring up the brunch and how crazy it was. So when I first came to the 14th Street, they were doing about 120 covers for brunch between 11 and 3, right? But there were so many people getting turned away. I did this thing where at 11 o'clock, we'd fill up the book. So there'd be 80 at 11. There'd be 80 at 1 and 80 at 3. So what's that, 240, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're doing 240 every Saturday, Sunday for brunch in this place, right? That's a lot of eggs.
That's a small kitchen.
Yeah. And can you imagine
That's a
from
lot of
your,
eggs,
from your
bro.
standpoint, can you imagine getting 80 people out? Because they're under 2 hours of endless mimosa or whatever. it
Yeah,
is.
yeah, of course.
And can you imagine 80 people drunk, whatever, trying to get them out while 80 people are coming in, tables set. But we did it, and it was an absolute money-making machine. Like,
Well, that's impressive. What you said they were doing like 120, then you maxed
Yeah.
that out to 240.
I knew that was one of the better things now I've done with the brunch. We set up that brunch perfect for the Crooked Knives, and they're still doing it, I think.
No, yeah.
Yeah, and it was a machine, man. Jesus Christ, I'd be cracking eggs in my sleep.
What was the first thing you noticed? What was the first thing you noticed jumping into the head chef position in like the Crooked Knife? The difference between Ireland and America, or was
The fact that I was a head chef over here so fast, it just screams out like, I'm not dissing Ireland, of course, Jesus Christ, but it's just like the opportunities come easier over here for young guys like us. There's no doubt about it. Like, there's no way you can just gather 3 friends with a bit of money and just. It just seems harder in Ireland. There's more rules, stricter a little bit. It's a little bit more loose over here.
And the
like,
opportunities are few and far between.
yeah.
There's the fact that we talked
a
about
fact,
this last,
right?
I
last
feel
episode.
like in Ireland though, people don't want to see you do well. I feel like there's a thing amongst people in Ireland where if you went to open your own restaurant in Ireland at that age, or you became the head chef, people would slightly like want to see you fail. And I think it comes down to like you said, right? There's less opportunity. If you're not as deserving as the opportunity, if people don't feel you're deserving of the opportunity, I feel like that's a big thing in Irish culture, even amongst families, where it's like,
I think it might be mostly amongst families.
yeah, where people are like, they kind of secretly wish that you fail.
Well, I don't even know anymore. I've been here for so long. You know, that kind of way. It's just like I'm so adapted to what it is here. And it's just like, yeah, I can't even imagine opening up a restaurant in Dublin right now.
No.
It just, I don't know. Not for any reason. I'd love to, at the end of the day, have an apartment on the Keys and have a small little place there. Mix and match what I learned over here. Like in an American joint over there. It's big, massive burgers. I know it's more and more coming into. What are you laughing at? You love your burgers, extra large, everything. You know it. But yeah, it's just over here. It's just I feel like it comes a little bit easier, right?
It
Well,
does.
it's definitely more frequent.
Yeah.
More frequent is definitely a good way to put it.
Frequent is a good way that you put it, because I suppose in Ireland, if you get one chance in your lifetime to acquire a head chef's position or open your own restaurant,
That'd be a
then
lot.
it's like, okay, this is the one chance
Yeah.
that I get. Like, I gotta fucking do this.
Yeah.
But like over here, if you do the thing
I've
right
been
and
a-
keep your head straight, you will get multiple chances, or you will create multiple chances for yourself.
Yeah.
I think as long as you show competency, like I've been approached many times over here with opportunities, and in Ireland, I was queuing up for jobs in McDonald's, like, and I couldn't get a job. You know, I
That's
feel like
true.
the
Yeah.
opportunities
Yeah,
do
yeah,
come more frequently.
Yeah.
So where'd you go? You're at Crooked Knife.
Where are we now? Oh, the brunch thing, right? And then, that was a time period in my life where I was like, working 80 odd hours a week. And I was doing the travel from where I was like 14th Street back to Woodlawn, which was 2 subways. I didn't have I was gambling and I was drinking a lot. So it was like a bad time for me financially. So I was getting the 4 train instead of the Metro North, stuff like that. So it was like I was finishing work at 11, taking me 2.5 hours to get home. Literally, like you get the bus and 2 subways.
That 4 train's the worst.
So you're getting home at 1 o'clock, and then you've got brunch. You have to be in there for 8:30. You're getting 4 hours sleep. Sludging through the snow, fucking all that shit. It was just that was the toughest time. It was like America's tough.
It is tough though.
Yeah.
It is the thing that they say. Like, if I honestly believe that saying, if you make it here, you can make it anywhere. It's like, man, I've never
break
been
out
more
in a song,
depressed. I am. All right, Q.
Hit the music.
Honestly, I have been more depressed in America than I ever was in Ireland.
Yes.
And then things are way harder, and you have nothing to fall back on. But when you get past that and you realize that it's like, okay, this is just
100%.
another day in it, man, you could do. That's the worst ever. Coming home in the snow, you have no money, right? You're getting the fucking subway. It's freezing cold. You have no family. You have no dinner. You're worried about paying rent. And then, you have to get up tomorrow and do it all over again.
That's where we can really relate.
Yeah.
Because we did the I call them the stupid years, where it was just like getting your paycheck, destroying it, owning it all out the minute you get it. There was times where
Jumping the turn signal because you don't want to pay the
yeah, I'm getting caught.
Yeah.
There
Getting
was
part.
one time I had friends over from Ireland, and I was getting paid $1,000 or whatever in the crooked knife, whatever, and I got in cash. There you go, lovely. And then
If you're in Ireland, when they told you $1,000, you're like,
yeah,
rich.
yeah.
Then you come here, fuck.
I get it. Go for a few drinks and I'd lose it. It'd put me back,
You'd lose your paycheck.
Yeah.
You'd lose
Yeah.
your cash. Well, your
bringing up
cash.
Bracken again. But me and Bracken lost our paychecks probably 2 or 3 times, like, and I was the full whack. And then
Fuck
you're
that.
just like you're backtracking all the time.
Looking
then.
for an envelope all over the
looking
place.
for that envelope that says Bren.
Ah, man, that's crazy.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
So, if you don't mind, do you mind if I interject real quick? Because you brought up something a while ago about your man Ruski getting violent with you in the kitchen.
Yes.
Do you have any other stories where things got violent? Actually, Rob, we didn't ask you, but I'd like to hear if you had any violent stories in the kitchen as well. Because I can imagine like the temperament, the heat, the pressure. Everybody's dealing with like sharp shit all the time, and heavy shit all the time.
Yeah.
You're kind of crazy.
I've always been a level-headed person, so I've had instances where people try to approach me and try to get me to go outside, but in my head I'm like, this is my salary and my livelihood, and you probably are gonna go back to like the streets after this. So I've never lost my cool like that, but people absolutely do lose their cool, and they absolutely get violent sometimes, where it's just like, I can't believe this is happening right now. Like the knife waving and everything like that, I'm pretty sure
Wow, man.
you were just like, what's going on? But I'm not gonna lie, I've had some, like some intrusive thoughts where I'm like, I can shove this guy's head into a fryer right now, if like where you just have to stay calm. and
Sometimes
just-
you want it,
yeah, sometimes you
punish her.
really, really want to, like
but you're not gonna do it.
no, you can't.
But no, another stupid thing I did was I drank in work after work in the city, and obviously I was watching the food come out, didn't like it. This is where I hated it. Like I was like way too big for my own boots kind of thing. So I went in and I smashed a few plates. Regret it terribly. Never did anything like it again. Jesus Christ! But that was a regret of mine. Yeah.
Where was that in?
That crooked knife.
The crooked,
Crooked life.
the crooked life.
They're crooked life. But yeah, Jesus Christ.
Man, I have so many stories at Crooked Knife. Was one of my favorite hangout spots.
On
14th
30th or
Street.
14th?
14th.
Yeah.
So I used to work all throughout the meatpacking district, Catch, Booty
Yeah.
Pond, Soho House, and that was my home. I have so many
You
pictures.
know Frank?
Of course I know Frank.
How's it
Frankie,
going,
baby.
Frank?
I love Frank. Frank, if you're out there, I still
Legend.
follow him on Instagram. Yeah.
Legend.
But so many stories, so many good times there,
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
Who's this dude, Frank?
He's
He's
a bartender, late
yeah.
night bartender, and it's a late night bartender.
Yeah, he's a late night.
Yeah,
bartender.
yeah,
They usually, close the doors and then stay open. There's so many regulars there that come. It's all industry people at the end of the night. All these people from the restaurants that are working.
Yeah.
there.
It always is industry people at the end of the night. God bless them.
Man, and then if you're in the industry, you run up like a
you get
$300
much
tab,
industry
comes
people
out
there?
to $40.
Yes.
That's where you're at all
Yes.
the time. But so much fun, so much fun. Yeah.
Yeah, the Blind Pig, thankfully, we're blessed to say, but we did and still do get a lot of industry people.
Yeah.
You know, people that work in the areas in the surrounding towns and White Plains. You know, we try our best to keep it open late most days of the week because most places close early or close a little bit earlier than us, and people want to come and grab a drink at the end of the night. Of course, after dealing with people all night.
It's a great spot for a late one, isn't it?
Thank you. You heard it here first. Great spot. Great spot for a late one. But yeah, it's. There's actually another thing we should get into: the relationship between, I suppose, the lifestyle of chefs and the industry in general. But I know people get kind of carried away with it a little bit, right?
Yeah. Back to you go through bad times, right? And you go through tough times. Again, I got stuck into the gambling because the gambling over here, it's like you send a text message and that's $1,000. Boom, gone.
In Ireland, you need the cash. You need to have the cash.
Yeah,
and
you
hand
pay
over
up
to place a
front
bet.
and there's bookies and all that stuff. You just send a message over here and it's just so easy, you know. You don't see the money until it's Friday and you owe 7,000, so you get in holes. But that got me into a bad place at the gambling. And then my savior and all this is like just when I was cracking up and I was like, Jesus Christ, maybe I should pay me debts and just get the hell out of here, you know, go back home because I was bad.
I remember speaking to you at this point, and you were like contemplating doing construction.
Yeah,
You were working 2
contemplating
jobs.
construction. Yeah, didn't know what I wanted to do because I was in the kitchen and I was just gambling on my phone. So I was like,
Well, man, your food was some of my favorite food that I'd ever had. I always loved your food, and I was like, in my head, I was like,
you wouldn't think he's gambling, like.
I wouldn't know if you're gambling, but I was definitely like, man, this dude can't leave here because he hasn't finished writing his story. Like, you know?
Yeah. And then one of my savers is Mr. Derek Curtis. Please don't hurt us, I'd like to call him. I went for a pint in Saints and Scholars. It just opened, and I met Derek. I knew him from the Crooked Knife, and Jesus, lads, I love this fella more than anything. I swear to God, we just bounce off each other. We have a laugh.
Derek's very sound.
He's so sound.
He's very sound.
He's just sound, isn't he?
Yeah, he's sound.
But anyway, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna start doing food here, and I started the bar Saint Scholars. Lovely, sexy bar, like lovely like this, you know, cocktails, all that stuff. And he offers me the job, and I was like, right, let's do it. And Tommy, Aiden, Derek, they set me up for success so much. They gave me a car. They sorted me out with somewhere to stay the first couple of weeks because I didn't know where to stay. And we hit the ground running.
I would say, though, you sorted them out.
Oh, I like
would say
to
mutually.
think we both did.
But, man, Saints and Scholars got known for its food. Like, it got known for its food to the point where everyone on the Home McLean Avenue, everyone in Yonkers was like, this is where you go for food now. It used to be other places. People used to say, oh, you go get a nice steak in. What's that place next to Moriarty's?
McKeown's.
The Heritage?
McKeown's.
Or McKeown's,
People
yeah.
like, you go to the Heritage for food, but it was like, when you start cooking in Saints and Scholars, it was a different level of cooking of what was going on McLean Avenue. And I worked in Saints and Scholars for a very short period of time. The guys were really nice guys to work with, sound. But I was working with Bren, and I was very happy to work with you was why I was working there. And I remember you in the kitchen, I'd be coming in talking shite to you while you're in the kitchen. The kitchen's so small in there, Bren's arse would be on the as he's prepping on one side, his arse would be on the flat top on the other side. But the level of food that you brought there is what gave them that name. And to the point where people still go there for food. They still cook a lot of the same recipes that you left there. And I don't think people realize that you brought that there. Now, they did a great job interior decorating it. You know, they had a great following before that. There was obviously multiple bars they owned. But, man, you took them to the next level with the food. And everyone knew it. Like, you know, anyone who knew you were cooking in there, no one was doing scallops on McLean Avenue. No one was you were doing like dishes that people wouldn't have thought of out there at all. And you were executing them really well. James, you were a fan of going there for food.
Yeah, man. I went in one time. I think it was the filet mignon you had in the menu, and I looked at it and I was like, "Oh, this looks deadly." I got into it at the first bite. It gave me that like, holy shit! It gave me one of those feelings, you know. You need to try something and it's just so good. You're like, wow.
Brent short rib,
Yo, this is fucking
next
bang.
level.
Yeah, it's like almost like you put on another one. Just
Jeez,
get
lads,
another
my
one.
head won't fit out the fucking door. It's big enough. Thanks very much. I appreciate that, lads.
And
Thank you
Yeah,
very
even
it was
much.
Kirby was
delicious.
saying to us, he went in and he was like, he got a bowl of, he's a big fan of soup for whatever reason. You know, he's an old Irish dude, give him no fish, none of that, but you give him soup. He went in and he was like, that was an expensive soup. It was worth every penny. That's what he said. He was like, soup was amazing. You know, so I think that you brought something to them that they were able to capitalize on long term, you know, which was great for, obviously super beneficial to everybody, but go on.
Yeah. No, as I said, I like to think that we both left each other in great places, you know? I found that the where St. Scholars was great for me because I brought everything I learned in Manhattan and over the years, and there's still a lot of Irish to me, and there's still a lot of Irish twists. Like at the moment in Jack's, I have a shepherd's pie arancini on. I don't like to leave no Irish stuff on the menu.
I always follow specific chefs. I follow. Doesn't have to be like, you know, famous chefs around. It's people who I enjoy their food. I follow Brand's food. I follow Bracken's food. I go into Butler when I see Bracken has sausage rolls on it.
Oh, he makes a mean sausage roll.
Leek sausage rolls.
He is a fucking sausage
Then
roll.
I go into your place, I see the black pudding. You know, it's like I always see it, and I'm like, it's brilliant to bring that along. It's almost like your signature that you're leaving a bit of you into each menu.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, no, just shout out to, again, Tommy, Aiden, and Derek there. They like really sorted me out. Spent 2 great years there. And all the girls, of course. Jesus Christ. We had a great time. And then COVID hit. And it was bullshit for me because I wasn't getting the government money. So I was 12 weeks up in Philly, up in the wife's house, the wife's mother's house.
None of that good government money.
No, I had nothing coming in until I was like, so the first phone call I got was Mr. Shane Clifford. And they were opening Jack's. I was like, what would you do? 12 weeks of living off, like, well, I was going to the store and I couldn't even like give them money to get like, and I'm eating their food for 12 weeks. That's not me. Like, I just didn't like it. So anyway, the first ones to call me, they called me and they were like, yeah, we're opening up this place in Jack's, And I went down and I checked it out. The kitchen was the size of a football field.
Man, it's the biggest kitchen I've ever seen.
They have a pizza oven. And me and the wife, Rita, were making shit tons of pizza up in during COVID. Like, so we were learning all that. She's great with dough and she's great with pizza. So actually her recipe is the recipe we use at Jack's. So thanks, babe.
Behind every great man is an even greater woman.
There it is,
say,
Neil.
right?
There it is, Neil. Yeah, the truth should set you free. But yeah, so that came along then, and that was one of the toughest decisions ever, man, was leaving Saints. It was real, like, because we were on such a great thing, and there was such a buzz about it, and I just loved it there.
But you left your mark in Westchester. That was when, because no one knew you in the city. Like, not saying no one, no one up
100%.
here knew
Jesus
you
Christ.
in the city, and the city's so big, so many names. That it's
Small
like,
fish, big pond, well, that's
exactly.
Yeah.
And then you come to Westchester, you make a name for yourself. Now you're in Eastchester. It's a little bit more uppity than Yonkers, and now you get to shine because you get to do your own menu. I'm sure they were letting you do your own menu anyway.
Complete freedom. We actually, like, this is actually mad. There wasn't actually a set menu. So every day I'd come in and make specials for the day. So it was like, if I had a piece of pork, I'd do something with it. You know what I mean? It was just like, there was no waste in St. Scholars. Everything was fresh. And it was just like, it was a lot to sit down at 3:00 every day and rewrite the whole menu. And it was a lot of work for Colleen, Derek's wife, fucking hell, up and down with the printer, all this stuff.
And what time did you guys open? So if you came in at 3, what time?
I was there at 11 we would be open for lunch, but I wouldn't have to do the dinner menu until that. And it was actually a fantastic way to not waste anything. Because, you know, if you have a steady menu and there's one thing not selling, you're like, ugh,
yeah, of course,
pisses you off. But yeah,
Doing the specials that's a real
another thing. Yeah. So at the moment in Jack's, I'm doing specials, and it just keeps me hungry, man. Like
creativity's flowing.
I go out for a meal, right, and I taste things, whatever, like you do with cocktails, you know. And it's like, I'm gonna put my spin on this. I'm gonna work on it for like Tuesday, Wednesday, and then by Thursday, yep, got it. That's going on the specials this week. Specials used to be a thing where like Christmas Day, you'd have a shit ton of turkey, and then the next day it'd be like turkey curries for everyone. Like there was
turkey sandwich,
it was just
turkey curry, turkey omelette, ham omelette.
Turkey omelette sounds unbelievable.
It was really tasty.
You ever see a Turk Diggler?
What's a Turk Diggler?
Man, there's this place out in Jersey called the Speak Eatery. Right? Check it out. It's called the Speak Eatery. And I've been trying to get the lads who work with us every year to do this trying to steal their idea. I don't care. I've been trying to get the lads.
Borrowing.
Jimmy B knows.
He still hasn't got
or
this.
manipulating the idea. Every year I see that they do it at Thanksgiving. They do this sandwich, right? And they call it a Turk Diggler, but it sells out every day. It sells out every single day. You can never get me hands on it.
Layer it
But
for me.
the bread is stuffing. So they do 2 stuffing buns with cranberry mayonnaise, turkey, gravy, and that's it. But you got to check it out on Instagram. We'll tag it in, plug it into the bio. But it's called the Turk Diggler sandwich, man, and it looks unreal. And I'm like, that's perfect for a place like us that, like, on Thanksgiving, we don't want to do no turkey. But I always seen it, and I was always like, that's sick.
What's Thanksgiving like here for you?
I might be mistaken, but did we not close last year for Thanksgiving? I feel like we closed one day.
1 year we closed, and 2 years we didn't close, I believe. Thanksgiving Day, I think we may have closed last year. I can't remember. I know we're open on Christmas Day.
Yeah, we definitely open on Christmas Day.
We open on Christmas Day.
Because Christmas Day is the one day of the year that I know for a fact I'm fucking drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for a fact.
I enjoy working
straight
on
away.
Christmas Day. Honestly.
I just remember that there. I always remember, because you live close, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, you're just like, why wouldn't I open? Like,
Yeah.
and bring people in.
Man, I enjoy it. It's like, for me, it's more festive.
That's amazing.
On Thanksgiving, the problem that I feel is in America, it's such a family-orientated holiday that the people who come out on Thanksgiving Day generally are people who cause problems because they're not with their family and they're in bad mood.
Right.
That's what I found from. Whereas on Christmas, it's not the way it is in Ireland, where it's like Christmas is the Thanksgiving. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
On Christmas, everybody seems to come out in a good mood. They all want to drink, and it's like you get people who, especially the Italians, because they do their Christmas, and I believe Hispanic people as well do their Christmas almost the day before. Right, Christmas Eve is bigger.
Yeah, I might be confused, but there is some sort of festivity with like the 7 fish or the 9 fish or something.
That's
like
really
that.
it.
Christmas
Italian
Eve,
household.
right?
Yeah.
Italians.
So then
That's their
what
thing,
happens
yeah.
is they generally are already kind of sick of their families by the next day. And then that's why so to get out and go and have a drink, they're all, in good humor.
Who have you been talking to?
Everyone. But, so I feel like, and same for the Spanish people, is like, or the Hispanics, like a lot of the guys who work here, they want off Christmas Eve because Christmas Eve is bigger in their culture than Christmas Day. Whereas in Ireland, in Europe, we're big on Christmas Day. But I feel like Christmas Day is very it's jolly, it's fun, everyone's out having a good time, and we get packed when we open on Christmas Day. But on Thanksgiving Eve, we found that people are coming in who have nowhere to go and generally, or they're fighting with people or whatever, and we found that it's like not the best vibes.
There's some days like that I've noticed too. Like one of the big ones as well is Super Bowl Sunday. So no matter what bar you work in, football games are always crazy. It's always good energy. But for some reason, Super Bowl Sunday is primarily a house party event.
Yeah.
People invite people over to their parties or whatever. So in the same vein, on Super Bowl Sunday, when you have people coming out to the bar,
They didn't get
they
invited.
didn't get invited to a party because they're probably a dirtbag.
That's
Sorry,
it.
or undesirable is probably more.
Undesirable. They got no invite.
You're a fucking dirtbag.
What about me? Like, I don't even watch sports. Like, I'm in there on the Super Bowl Sunday. You're like dirtbag.
Yeah, I'm like, sorry, Rob. Yeah.
I work here.
Unfortunately.
It's like that's just the stereotype. The stereotype may not be true for certain people, but it's definitely true for some other people.
Yeah.
It's like
Stereotypes are a thing for a reason. They definitely tarnish the wrong people sometimes with like the same brush, but sometimes you brush the right people with the brush.
Of course.
Sometimes you bang the nail on the head and you're like, yeah.
So,
Brilliant.
so lads, we're obviously getting a little bit sidetracked here, but
Turkey fucking digglers all around.
Yeah. So the specials brand, they're keeping your creative juices
Oh,
flowing.
100%. Yeah. It's not like, as I said before, trying to get rid of stuff that you do on a Monday morning that you didn't sell. It's 100% stuff I want to do. And then, so all the specials I do every weekend, I'll keep a record. And then the top 4 will go on the menu. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just love them. I absolutely, like, it's a great way.
They seem to be running dry over here. I think we have Dave coming in with the cocktail of the week.
Jesus Christ. What type of establishment is this?
Right? How could we do it? But the cocktail of the week this week is the Tickle Me Pink. It's been on our menu for a good while.
Yo.
We can't take it off because it sells so well. It's a blend of rosé gin, elderflower liqueur, little bit of aperitif, and a bitter, topped with prosecco, an expressed orange peel,
Thank
tucked
you very
in for
much.
garnish. Super tasty, super light and refreshing, almost like a more complex Aperol spritz, if you will.
Thank you, Dave. Dave's the man.
Nicely said, Dano. Nicely said.
Dave.
Thank you, Dave.
Cheers, guys.
Appreciate you.
Cheers.
Sorry, gentlemen. I'm not a straw kind of guy.
I know. I feel like it
Ooh, yeah.
decreases the size of your taint.
Jeez, that's right up my alley now. That is. Yeah. To finish off, obviously.
It tastes like a lollipop.
Oh, baby.
Like an ice lolly.
Tickle Me Pink.
It's fucking banging.
You wouldn't think it's 9 a.m. over here, would you?
It's not 9 a.m. I don't give a shit.
This is my type of podcast, lads. Fucking hell. What are you doing next Thursday?
Nice.
So then, man, what
It
was
is.
it like getting Jack's going after COVID was a thing? At what time? When did you open Jack's?
So the boys opened Jack's, tried to open Jack's. Remember the COVID hit on the 18th? Was it Paddy's Day?
It was
It
the
was
day
16th.
before.
It was the 16th of March.
They were meant to open on the 17th.
Wow.
Yeah.
And did they hold off a little bit to have a big St. Patrick's Day?
Oh,
party?
massive, yeah.
That's
Just-
even worse.
Some of the
They-
signs are still down in the basement. It's like, yeah, it must have been so tough for them, fucking financially and mentally, all that stuff.
Fuck.
Shout out to the boys, fucking Din, Stevie, Shane, of course, Row as well, and who am I forgetting?
The lads from
Stevie
Derry are
Din,
gents.
Stevie Din, yeah, legends. Scone, Owen, Shane, and of course Row as well, yeah. But yeah, they had a whole hiatus then, and then obviously I came in and
They were probably very excited to have you come in.
well,
They knew what you were bringing. Everybody.
again, thank God we hit the ground running. Like I remember that first night we opened, it was only to go food, and I wanted I wanted to do this thing where you open the pizza box and your fries are there and your ketchup and your sauces and your burger.
Like a chipper.
Yeah, like a chipper, like, you know what I mean? So there was pizza boxes everywhere. There was people walking out like this. They only ordered like 2 fries. It was madness. No, that was another shit show of a night. Jesus,
Jack's
ran out of
completely
everything.
contributed to all the global warming. That cutting down trees.
Shut up. But yeah, so we did a couple of months there, and as obviously we forgot to even say that I was talking to you about coming here way before the great Rob and all. But like I was looking for a percentage basically, you know what I mean? And
You were at that point in your life.
yeah, I
There's
was
no
like,
point in doing it for
yeah,
other people.
exactly. I wanted to make my own money and all that stuff, so I was very, very grateful that the boys gave me a piece of the pie in Jackson. Jax is home for me now, and great team up there. Shout out to all the bartenders: Ado, Freddie, Emma, Vitty, Rosie, Matt, all the kitchen staff, everyone else I'm forgetting. But yeah, we have a great squad up there. It's like a benchmark, you know what I mean? It was like, I know it works, what we do there, thank God. And it's a nice start to hopefully a great future, you know what
Congrats, man. I
Yeah.
didn't know that you were a part owner up there. I knew you worked there for a long time. I didn't know that you
Yeah.
were.
I mean? Yeah.
Congrats, man. It's
Thanks
nice.
very much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
cheers.
welcome, man. You're welcome. Congrats.
Cheers.
You definitely put your twist on it, man. Eastchester got a breath of fresh air when you guys went in there, 100%. Because I feel like Eastchester's confined. It's not, it's not the easiest place to get to if you're not living there. But if you are living there, it's not easy to travel outwards because they don't got the trains. But they always had the Spillans, right?
Yeah.
They got Barada too. Barada's nice.
Barada's
but they
there.
always had the...
Brad is very good.
Yeah, they always...
I've never been.
Brad is.
Is
Brad
it?
is
Yeah.
good. Yeah, Brad is good.
Yeah,
I
Jack's
would,
is
I would
better.
try it. Yeah, really good.
Pizzas are everything.
But Jax is great. Like, we're getting a little bit off track, but Jax is great. But Brad
I
is.
personally... no, but
But
honestly... like,
Barada.
I've only been to Barada once. I've been to Spillans once. I've not eaten anything there. But I've been to Jack's multiple times. I always try. I'll text you and see if you're in the kitchen when I'm to try getting
Yeah.
there when you're there. But man, the food. The problem with me going to Jack's is like I want to try a bit of everything on the menu because
Yeah, you came in, you ordered 16 things one day for yourself.
Man, I take them.
What do you want?
You see
That's
this
gonna be
guy?
cold by
You
the
see
time
this
you
guy
get to the
come in, you
16th.
just want to run out
Yeah,
the back
yeah,
door.
yeah,
He's like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
fancy. He's gonna order.
Are you
all
in
over
work?
here.
No.
The problem is, like, I see items that I know you've cooked before that I liked, like your chowder. When I see your chowder, I'm like, I want that Jameson chowder, right? But then I see the new things that you brought on, and I'm like, ah, man, I can't not try this. Then I end up leaving with so much stuff. But you have such a creative style of cooking, in my opinion, that it's like it's a twist on traditional stuff. You get in like traditional flavors into like modern or different cuisines, and then I'm looking at it and I'm like, man, I have to try all this. You know, I have to try. And then
Right.
I see the Jameson chowder, and I'm like, I can't leave without the Jameson chowder.
Brilliant.
The Jameson chowder in Jack's is unreal. Do you still do that over there?
I had on special last week. It's coming back in now for the winter.
Man,
Yeah.
that with Brand's brown bread, the bread that you were
Brennan's
doing with
brown bread. Yeah, the Guinness bread.
Brennan's brown bread.
Guinness bread.
Yeah.
Guinness bread, yeah.
Serious. Very nice.
Well, there's a pint of Guinness in them 4 loaves.
Wow.
You're not going to get drunk off it.
Of course.
I want to say something to Rob. I was like, do you ever hear the saying you're only as good as your worst chef?
Yes.
And do you feel that as a head chef?
Yes, absolutely. If I feel like if I can't get one of my line cooks to want to be a chef and inspire them to be a chef, I'm doing something wrong. You know what I mean? Like, and I tell every chef in here, like, you guys should be aiming and gunning to take my position. Like,
Yeah.
that's where you guys should be shooting for.
And do you take it personal when someone lets you down? Do you think about it on the way home like I do?
If someone lets me down, I readjust and I see what I'm doing. I look at what I'm doing wrong. That's the only way to do it. You can't, especially in the kitchen, especially with new people, and you have a lot of young people that come into the kitchen, line cooks, and they want to learn. They don't know anything. We were at that point. You were 16 in the kitchen. You're like, all right, I got to run this show. So I feel like it's my job to keep that passion alive, because how many people do you see come out of school, culinary school, and then they try it for 2 weeks, and then they're like, I don't want to do this anymore, and then their parents' money is gone and wasted, and they're in college again to become an accountant. But it's only because that one chef gave them a really bad experience. I think the chef that yells and screams and loses his cool and all that era has passed and died.
100%.
I feel like the more understanding you are as a chef, and the more that you want to become better in your team and see your team succeed, that's what makes a great chef these days.
Yeah.
You're
better off having a family unit. Like my guys, I'm lucky to have a team now at the moment. Isaiah, Lydia, Fernando, Wiggy, Antonio, and it's the same guys, same 2 dishwashers for, thank God, like 2.5 years. So like if they have any problems outside of work, we talk about it, we sort it out. And it's just a way better. Like, I used to be the guy shouting and stuff like that when I first came here. Ask back, and Jesus Christ, he might as well be here. But I wanted everything fresh. I didn't want to buy anything. I didn't want to buy ranch. I didn't want to buy slider buns. I didn't want to buy. And then I'm in America, not understanding that I'm going to sell 150 hamburgers a night. So at the start, I was making them. I was making Bracken make all the sliders and all the burger buns. Like, yeah, exactly. Like, you know how much bread you go through, but like, no, it has to be. You have to have a system
I was
that.
wondering why Bracken got so good with the bacon.
There you go. Yeah, but you have to have a system that you're leaving work sane. Like, you know what I mean? You're not like, you have to be able to switch off when you go home, like at some stage.
So-
you know what I mean?
And we spoke about this. I spoke about this to our team on the side this week, actually. But we spoke about this another time, or touched on it on the podcast, is right. That era is definitely dead. And for multiple reasons, right? One, it's not the most efficient, because not everybody's going to have the drive that everyone has or the passion that everybody has. So if you dishearten someone into the extent of you're embarrassing them, or you're, hurting their feelings by screaming at them or shouting at them in front of everybody, one, people don't care about jobs like they used to, right? So people will just up and leave.
They're not going to take the abuse.
Yeah, they don't need to, right? It's not the type of world anymore where people need a job, or most people that we're dealing with don't need it. Like, whereas a few years ago, I feel like even maybe you go back 20 years ago, right? Our parents, they really needed a job, right? Like, my mother was a chef, and she put up with so much bullshit. I watched her come home and cry at night, and she put up with people screaming in her face, this, that, and the other. There was abuse thrown, and it was sort of the norm. Whereas now it's like, if you offend somebody, if you just offend somebody without even screaming at them, they might not come back to work. So you have that kind of situation right now where, you know, everybody got time off during COVID. Everybody kind of reevaluated what a job is. Everybody got paid while they were off. And people are kind of like, I don't need to put up with this nonsense anymore.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, people don't want to work the hours, right? Like our industry has a hard time keeping people in it because people don't want to work the hours. People don't want to be as committed to a job as you kind of need or want them to be. And then if you're going to have the old way of like, where if you don't know this, if you don't know that this spoon is for this dish, then you're an idiot.
Yeah.
People won't put up with that anymore.
Yeah.
And I was speaking to our guys about it, and I was saying, genuinely, lads, I was like, I'm not as nice of a person as you think I am.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm being nice to yous because I want yous to understand that I care about yous as a team. I care about the atmosphere that we have here, etc., etc. But the reality is like, when something goes wrong, my first instinct is to be like, are you a fucking gobshite? Like, is there something wrong with you? Because that's how I was treated.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I watched it push people out. And what in the best way or a better way to go about it is definitely what you're describing, where it's like you create an atmosphere almost like a family where people care about each other, where you don't mind that you're picking up a bit of slack for Joey because Joey is, you know, having a hard day or whatever the case may be.
There's always a Joey.
There's always a Joey, and there's a Tommy and a Benny and all the. But you know what I'm saying? It's like compared to like when, if you had came into work and brought in your problems from outside work when you were 16, the chef would have been like,
Yeah.
get the fuck out.
Yeah.
You know, and whereas now, you need these people, and how much do you appreciate your dishwasher?
100%. Jesus Christ, important as myself. It's just
Man,
He's the most critical part of the team.
He's
The
your
beast.
barrier.
The
He's your
beast.
barrier. He's your barrier right there. That's your guy. If you're gonna have to be in the dish pit doing all his work.
Yeah.
If someone curses at him or shouts in his face or makes him feel like shit, you know, and that has gone on in our industry for a long time.
yeah.
I actually terminated somebody like that. I had hired a sous chef when I was at Al Pastor.
Terminated. I love that term.
I had to,
terminated
man.
this
I was on the line, and you know, this guy was like, you know, he was new. He must have been there for like a couple of days, 4 days. And the prep team that I had at Al Pastor, they were there like before it was Al Pastor, when it was Salvation Taco at the time. And they were like literally holding the team together. You know, like they come in, they knock out all this prep. I'm talking about incredible amounts of prep. You're just like, how could you imagine getting this done? But they had the system down where they were doing it all the time. And this guy came in, and I can hear him from the front of the kitchen. He was in the back, and he's like, didn't I tell you to put this here? But in a very, very, you know, improper way, and raising his voice. And I went straight to the back, pulled him to the side. I was like, listen, this is not how we talk to my team. It's like, you may do that at other places, but these guys work hard. They don't deserve that. This is not the place for you. You know, like.
Yeah.
We had a guy like that here, man. Right before you came in, we had a guy come in. We have a girl who works with us. We mention her all the time. Haley Rose, right?
The big guy.
The big guy. We have a girl working with us since she's 16. She's unbelievable. She's a legend. She does.
What age is she now?
What age is she?
She's 18 now.
18. Haley's 18. So she's one of the few people who doing what you did, where she starts young. She doesn't want to be in school. She wants to be a chef.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So she wants to do pastry. She's got a lot of creativity. But when you get someone like that, you want to harbor it and nurture it, right? So we have this girl. She's been working with us. She works hard. She used to work 5 days a week when she wasn't at school. You know, as a young girl, she comes in, does a lot of work. She brings stuff to the menu because she's creative. We had this new chef come in. First thing he did was say to one of our bartenders, don't use that door. Right? Okay, fair enough. Don't speak to him like that. But we're not going to go into it. Next thing he does, he makes Haley cry.
Oh.
Doesn't fly.
The whole team turned on him in an instant.
Instant.
It was almost like
I don't
Ouch.
know Haley, but I just want to pick her up right now and just rock her. Just
like Brenda.
feel her. Hey!
But yeah, man, it's like the whole team immediately, like we all have a spot for Haley where it's almost like our little sister. Like
Yeah.
you just fucked with our
Yeah,
little
that's
sister.
what it sounds like.
You fucked with the whole team's little sister. That's not going to stand in here. And this guy, at one point, actually was shouting at one of our bartenders out the kitchen door that he was going to fight with him.
I'm afraid for her boyfriend, whoever the fuck it is. This
Ah.
motherfucker.
Yeah, that wasn't good, man.
Yeah.
He had that whole.
He was gone immediately.
Yeah, he had that whole old, I think he had that old school mentality, and he probably had some other like Lord Farquaad issues.
Yeah.
You know, where he was like had something to prove.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Listen, he probably had some other Lord Farquaad issues where he had something to prove. So now he's like got a chip on his shoulder, but it's not like I'm gonna prove myself. It's more like I'm gonna put everybody down. I'm gonna bring everybody down to my level rather than I'm gonna rise to the occasion and bring myself where
And you know
I
what
show
was
everybody what I
crazy?
can
He
do.
was the nicest guy to me.
Yeah.
Like to me, because he knew like, all right, like I'm a partner here. I mean, like I never had a staff member nicer to me, which it was even worse then because I was like, this guy is like, oh, do you need anything? Do you need this? Do you need that? And then he's making this young girl cry. I was like, that shows exactly what type
See
of,
that inhale that you just did right there? That's how I feel about this guy too.
yeah.
Yeah, I was just like,
And then he stole her knife when he left, and it was her first knife. It was
Yeah, that's true,
it was
yeah.
in
do we have
Yeah.
addresses?
we were trying to get them. Actually.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
But he stole it, and it was our first good chef knife.
Ah, jeez. Heidi, where are you? I'll
Right.
give you a knife.
She'll take you up on that offer.
Yeah.
Yeah?
See
I'll
you.
drop by. Jesus
But,
Christ. Signed, engraved.
But man, it's definitely the industry is definitely after changing, going through the time.
I think that the cutoff point, like Gordon Ramsay, the shouting thing, he did go through it in the 90s, right? You seen the boiling point, all that stuff. But now the Michelin star restaurants, right? They're all walking around. There's 3 men to 1 job for attention to detail, and they're so good at what they do. The food, I don't know if it's better or whatever, but it's just insane. They all have tweezers. There's 1 guy, there's 2 guys doing a salad. There's 3 guys, like, you know what I mean? It's just perfection now at this stage. It's not like it's calm. It's calm in the kitchens because there's a lot of them. And they're just like, maybe some of them are working for free just to learn from them chefs, but there's a lot of white jackets walking around. You're not stuck for staff in Michelin star restaurants or anything like that. And it's just, there's no one shouting. There's no one even talking. What's the one? What's your man-
That's great. It's like an orchestra.
It's like an
It's
orc-
like
yeah.
it's like everybody knows what their role is.
Yeah.
And
Everybody's got
get-
tweezers.
Everything changed from the 90s, like on, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
as we were saying about the bonfire, I was like, when we're the I think we're the
Well,
last
man,
generation.
the 90s is 30 years ago.
Ah,
Man, it's
stop
crazy.
it.
Don't
is.
say that.
It
Don't
is.
say
The
that.
90s is 30 years
Don't
ago.
say
like,
that with a
yeah.
straight
like,
face.
if things
Man,
were the same as 30 years
We
ago,
have
it
to
would be
talk
good.
about the bonfire, right? It's all the same. It's one and the same thing, right?
It's still Halloween.
It's still Halloween. We lost the biggest part of my childhood. The most memorable part of my childhood was collecting wood for a bonfire at Halloween, right? It was the biggest thing at Halloween in Ireland. And anyone who doesn't know, Ireland was a pagan country. Halloween's essentially Irish, right? It originated with the pagans.
Jesus.
It was, people
Yeah.
think that we don't celebrate it. We
We're ancient.
celebrate it with 15 story,
We are
you
ancient.
know, bonfires, and we collected for months for these bonfires. You be out at 6 a.m. when you're 8 years old up till when you're 16, 17. And at 16, 17, then you start getting the 8-year-olds up and you start directing, right? And we'd dig a hole. You'd get a center pole, a huge pole.
Who's got the biggest center pole in the town?
That's what it was all about.
How many tires do you have?
How many? Who got the most tires?
Robbing other people's stash, burn
Robbing
it to the
their
ground.
wood. It's literally
How did we
like-
get on this subject again?
Because we're talking about how they lost. The people they've lost it. There's a different generation now. They don't do bonfires
yes, yeah,
anymore,
yeah.
and they're gone. They're not up in the morning out getting dirty. There's none of that craziness. 2 of us tug of warring over a pallet because you live 15 minutes away from me.
Yeah,
You know?
relating that to the kitchen. I'm
Yeah.
just saying there is. I don't know what year, but there is a time period where hardship is just got kicked out the door. Like
100%. It's
in
almost
more
it's
ways than just
cancelled.
the kitchen. You know what I mean? It's like
You know, I brought this point up. I'm sorry, lads. I brought this point up with football, for example. Like we all grew up with like soccer being like a real aggressive like man sport. Like Robbie Keane. Not Robbie Keane. Roy Keane.
Eric
literally being
Cantona.
both.
all them people just being maniacs. Yeah, Eric Cantona, if anybody doesn't know, literally drop kicked a fan one time. He just ran 2 feet up, kicked him right in the chest.
Sweet chin
was
music.
banned from playing like soccer for forever. But now you have guys
Robbie Savage.
getting like a little brush like this, and they dive and take the free. But for a strategic point, it is a more efficient game because if you're within a scoring zone and you know your free kick taker has like a 95% chance of scoring from this area and somebody gives you the opportunity to take a dive to give you the opportunity to take a free, which your guy has a 95% chance of scoring, you're going to take it. It's a smarter game.
Yeah.
Now it loses the whole energy and the aggressiveness and like the grittiness. But
here's
on the other
thing.
side, it's like it wins.
What about the result? Right? For instance, we have, as me and Bren just spoke about, like say me and Bren went out and collected for a bonfire. Right?
Were you out collecting bonfires?
Of course you were.
Of course, Jesus. We used to go on tire runs, and like it was
Tire
like
runs.
how many people down the train tracks? How many people who could hold the most? And it was always like 2 on here, 1 on the neck. But then when this
put it
one
on your
fella,
head.
Kyler, Jesus Christ, he put 6. He couldn't even fucking see. We're like Kyler this way. He had 6.
Well, he was the man.
He was the man. Sure, I'm talking about him now.
Man, do you know what that did? Do you know what that did? Exactly.
I'm
And
talking about him now.
that got you your seat at the bonfire, right? Nah, that's Coiler's seat. He gets that seat at the bonfire. You know that. That's my couch at the bonfire. And you know what happens when you have a seat? Someone sits on your lap, right? I'm telling you right now, but this is the
Coiler.
same thing, right?
Love him.
Let's say me and Bren, we both collected for a bonfire. So we have that in us. Essentially, we've been through this nitty-gritty, crazy time, right? Now you go to someone who didn't do that, right? Put it to soccer. Roy Keane is not going to lose a game, right? If you brought back Roy Keane and brought him against, what I'm saying is the result is it's going to produce people who are more inclined to do what you say. But
Softer.
yes, down the road, you're going to have a whole group of people who
Doesn't
wouldn't have
take
been
away
able
from
to
their
beat the
talent,
people. No, they're
but
going to be amazing.
soft.
But if you had to play them guys in the 90s or the 80s, they're going to cream you. If you had to get a bunch of dudes, right? Let's say you got everyone who's in our industry who went collecting for a bonfire, and you had to put them up against all these people who never collected for a bonfire, we're going to win. And we're going to have tires over our head. You know, but that's my point. My point being is like, you've
from
already
tires.
went to a crazy extent just to prove a point to a load of people who mean nothing. Imagine what you're going to do to people who you have passion for. Like the soccer. Eric Cantona was so passionate he drop kicked a fan. No captain of any team is
He was
ever
so pissed off.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Roy Keane, same team.
Yeah, that shit was like in their
They
core.
took it.
Yeah, but
That's-
as we're saying, in cooking, in football, in fucking life, there is just a new period of like the kids got their iPhones now at 11 or 12, and it's just a softer. You got to be more. I don't know. It's just not as obviously our mom and dads went through the real hardship.
Right.
I'm not saying I had a bad childhood and
No.
I was fucking spanked around school, but it was just like we're just cut off point
Right.
just before the camera phones came in and all that stuff.
How many guys do you think now, if they cut the top of their fingers off, would stay?
Stay working.
Yeah, oh,
Man, they were talking about that during the Great Depression.
Right.
They were talking
so
about
this
that.
is my point.
People are bringing iron beams together and some dudes chopping their fingers off or like parts of their fingers off, and they're like, if I just walk away now, they're gonna give my job away. Like I gotta wrap it up. But like they're talking about that shit since the 1930s.
Yeah.
Right.
And
but
now like you guys are still doing this shit.
this is what I'm saying,
You know what I
though, right? Like if someone cuts themselves or burns themselves in a kitchen now, the odds of them stopping right in the middle of Bloody Sunday, right?
Yeah,
They're gonna stop and they're gonna walk.
I was
out, and
embarrassed,
the team.
and I
And
didn't
then they're
want
gonna
to.
go home and collect 5 days' pay as well.
Yeah.
And not come back for 5 days.
But so
I'm on a lot of bonfire wood.
and the bonfire. Don't talk about collecting unless it's pallets.
Which, you know, brings us back to that point we spoke about before. The competitive nature amongst chefs. And Bren, you spoke to us on how there is like a sense of wanting to outdo the next guy, or you know, somebody does something and they're getting recognition for it, and then you're like, I know I can make something better than this. Watch this. You know, you feel like
100%.
that goes into your game a lot?
I don't feel like it's competitive. I just feel like this is great. This is amazing. And you want to add your spin to it. You're like, let me add my touch to this. And you see how it turns out. But I wouldn't say I'm competitive. I would say I'm very inspired by a lot of chefs out there. You know, I'm not trying to outdo anyone. I just want to put my own art spin on it and say, like, this was me now. Try this.
Yeah.
I'm not
Are
gonna
you
lie.
competitive?
No, it's just it's
I'm trying to
100%
outdo
where you're at, like, but it's just like it's not an everyday job. So just say that you're in an office job. It's just like a little bit different than just say I'm in a restaurant right now. If some guy opens a restaurant next door, it's a restaurant. I'm not saying like it is.
You
gonna,
are
it's-
in competition.
I'm in competition whether I like it or not.
Yeah.
So you can't get away from it. And I am competitive in nature, so I do like. I'm not saying I'm going out to kill this guy or anything, but it's just like it happens.
You have
and
to
you
try
can't
to beat
help
him.
it because like if someone over there opens up a bar, the Skinny Pig, and they start doing cocktails and all your beautiful food, you're in competition whether you like it or not. Like, so it's like it's not a regular job in so many ways. Schedule wise, like relationship wise, my wife does 9 to 5. I don't. I'm home at 11.
you're
Weekends, she's off. I'm on. You know what I mean? There's loads of
Man, I agree.
obstacles.
For me, when it comes to this industry, I feel like I'm putting in, like you're saying there, right? You're losing that relationship after we're both finished work at 5, right? You're losing so much. You give so much to this that I'm in this. It mightn't happen this month. It mightn't happen next month. But I'm in this to be the best. Like for me, genuinely, I am trying to outdo everybody. And even if it's not, I don't get to outdo them until 2024. My plan is to outdo everyone at some point and to be recognized as someone who's outdone themselves. That's where I'm at. Like, and I understand what you're saying. Is like I'm not looking at anyone specifically and be like, yo, fuck these guys.
So after this, our friendship's over, is what you're trying to say?
We're done. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh no, I get you. It's just the name of the game.
Yeah.
It's like you don't have to be competitive, but
You
just
have to
say
exceed.
You have to, like, your bosses are gonna come to you and saying these guys are doing that and stuff like that. So it's just in
you're
the
trying to
nature
do stuff
of
that
the
other
rest
people
of,
can't do.
and it's kind of strange when you get older. It's like, geez, this is a mad business. Like,
Yeah.
to be like still fighting off other competitions.
I'm sorry, guys. I just got a new fish order, new fish purveyor. I need to check this out real quick.
You
It's got to
do
be
it,
fresh.
chef.
Make sure those eyeballs are clear.
But you mentioned something about going to Restaurant Depot. You wanted to
Oh
talk
yeah,
about
yeah,
Restaurant
yeah.
Depot.
It's just like we buy off buyers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that pisses me off in
Right.
general. But it's find the time to go to Depot.
Are you seeing the hierarchy in purchasing? So like the farmer, unfortunately, now sells to like this global conglomerate.
Yeah.
And then the conglomerate sells to Restaurant Depot, and then we buy from Restaurant Depot. Is that what you're saying?
Even more. I'm buying off people that buy from Restaurant Depot, and that's what I need to cut out.
Right.
Why?
Like,
Because
not what it's not
to save you
go
doing the
myself
delivery.
every day.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's
You know what I mean?
companies essentially that will
Like-
they'll buy you what you need
Is this
from
still on?
Restaurant
Are we still
Depot.
rolling?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I thought you left.
It's honestly better when you don't know you're rolling because you're just like,
Yeah, yeah,
relaxed.
yeah, yeah,
But go
yeah.
ahead.
Fucking hate that cunt.
Now that he's gone.
No, but yeah, it's just like going to Restaurant Depot is a pain in the hole. It's horrible, right?
It's the worst part of owning a restaurant.
But what you're
You go
doing,
to Restaurant Depot and there's a bunch of people there who don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Right? They don't want to help you. Not only do they not want to help you, they want
But
they
I like
want
them as well.
Man, some of them are great characters.
Yeah, yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
There's one dude in there who's always talking to me about how he's in jail. I'm essentially he's still in jail in Restaurant Depot. He knows every place, everything.
Is the old dude?
Yeah, the
with
old
glasses?
dude, exactly. And
No.
he'll come up to me and then he'll tell you a story about jail and then he'll leave and I'm like, this is the whole reason I came to Restaurant Depot. I didn't even need anything. But at the same time, there's
cunt.
people in there who are just like, there are people who work there who just don't give a shit. And that's fine. Like, you know, they don't care. You're overly passionate. You're like, where's this item? I need
Yeah.
this. Without this, it's crucial.
Yeah.
Everything goes to shit.
Yeah.
I came all the way here just for this, and you're sitting here looking at me like I'm an idiot because I need this and we don't have, and you just don't have it.
Yeah.
Right?
As in, yeah, like for me, it's like with inflation at the moment, it's like I met a guy in Restaurant Depot. His lettuce used to be like 98 cents a head. Now it's $3.10, and he owns
Wow.
a deli.
So it
So
went from 98 cents
98 cents
to $3.
$3.10.
And inflation-
That's a
real.
300% increase.
There you go.
Inflation's real, man. Sure, like look at this. At one point, Brazen Fox, when we worked there, could give away free chicken wings. Free chicken wings. They did free chicken wings on Sunday. They could have went through thousands of chicken wings.
Yeah, yeah,
Every
yeah.
Sunday. Imagine
Give
the
'em
size
away.
of that restaurant.
Like
Free.
balls or one?
No,
Bowls.
no, like, but
As
think
many
about
as
how
you
much
want.
they were giving away. They were giving
Unlimited.
away boxes and boxes and
It won't be
boxes.
happening now, I'd say.
No,
No.
absolutely not. It's not
Yeah.
possible because the inflation is they doubled in price.
Yeah.
Right? Chicken has doubled in price. Honey, I went into Restaurant Depot last week or 2 weeks ago and there's a sign, right? I'll take a picture of the sign so that we can put it up on this. There's a sign that says honey has increased by 100%, right?
Those goddamn bees.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like 100%. How are you gonna run a bit? How can you justify that to a guest? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
How
I
do
know.
you-
It's tough.
Yeah,
It's tough.
because the
It's
people are asking you the
It's
question.
really tough when some of their favorite dishes has gone up $1 or $2. They're like, what?
Yeah.
You mean because they have inflation too, but if you want this restaurant still to be here in 2 years, you have to like. You know what I mean? It's such a touchy, horrible subject, and please God that we get out of it. Like,
Yeah, hopefully. But here's the thing. There has to be more sustainable. There has to be more sustainable answers brought to the equation, because right now it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. Like, there's not going to be more bees. The bees, like, you know, there's not going to be more bees.
Is there not?
No, there's going to be less.
put them in a motel.
Yeah,
They'll triple.
the bee motel, the botel.
They actually
But-
say that I think
The
it's in
wasp
the last
bin.
like 50 years, 90% of the bee population is.
Oh, yeah, no, I
Go
was
on.
reading about that. Yeah.
Like-
So this is the thing. It's like everything's on the decline when it comes to like the natural resources that we have. So unless there's, like, for instance, one sustainable thing that we looked into was indoor growing of your own fruits and vegetables.
Farm to table, yeah.
Yeah, and they have now something that we looked into was like it's a hydroponic setup, but it's stacked upwards, right? And the Tampa Bay Lightning have this in their stadium, and they feed, like, you know, was it 60,000 people, and majority of it comes from this. They have an acre of land built into 1,200 square feet of linear grow. So they're growing upwards, and it's then put onto a wind turbine, and it's connected to a solar panel. So you're guaranteed that it generates and it recycles the water, right? And this is the way that it's like, you want to fight inflation. There's going to be certain things that are going to come up, certain technologies, you know, answers to it. But, you know, most of the restaurants are unfortunately slowly going to be choked out by this at some point, because it's like you said, you're not going to be able to justify it to the guest.
Shit's
And
getting real.
It's not like we're making more money. It's not like you're upping the price $2 because you need an extra $2.
Yeah,
It's
exactly, yeah.
because all of the product has went up, and now without doing that, you're selling something for no reason, because
Yeah.
you need to pay for what people don't see is like, you need to pay the tax. You need to pay the sales tax to the government. They need their piece. You need to pay the kitchen staff. You need to pay the lights. You need to pay for the energy. You need to pay for the product. You need to pay for all this stuff. And then the product's going up. The minimum wage is going up. The rent is going up.
The tax
sales
is going
tax
up
is
because of
going
that.
up. Everything's going up. And if people decide that they don't want to pay it, now you're in a position where, okay, so am I going to pay out of my pocket to do this?
Yeah.
Right? And that's not why we got into this. Like, we got into this to hopefully have a better life.
Yeah.
So there's no way to justify us paying for you to have this product that you like.
100%.
And people are going to see it when all their favorite places are, like, you know, either going sustainable, whether it's towards vegan, they stop selling meat, or whether they start selling bugs like we have here. Salt and chili grasshopper.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. The most sustainable new thing that's on the market, I suppose, is bugs.
No. We did say we were going to try this.
Oh,
just
we're
for
definitely
everybody
going to try
at
this.
home, like,
Look at
these
this.
Jimmy B's not
Yeah.
very happy
Yeah.
about this,
Nah,
right, but I
listen,
was like,
you will
we'll
eat
do it.
sea bugs.
Man, I don't
You will
do it.
claw
I don't
Schwab.
really
Look
do
at this
it.
guy. Bran. Chef
I don't
Bran.
even want to touch them, man.
Seriously, are these nice?
Oh, man.
Oh, they're
so-
tasty.
You know what? They're nice enough that you might be living off
Oh,
them
I
in the
see this
future.
wing.
Just
Stop.
Here,
man.
what
you'll
the-
get to the eyeball. You're like, oh, that's
Oh,
the eyeball.
stop. Will you
Here,
not?
man, look at-
Man, I'm not worried about the eyeball. I'm worried about the asshole.
Man, I'm sorry, I'm not
Jimmy
doing it.
Wilson, eh?
Can't do
I'm
that.
Yeah.
not doing it, I'm not doing it.
Jimmy, you gotta do
Jimmy,
this.
you gotta do it if I'm doing it. I'm
Ah,
like
you
you.
have to.
This is the
Come
way.
on. Well, cheers.
Stop it right
Now,
into your mouth.
I'm not even gonna chew it. I'm not chewing it.
All the flavor, it's gonna get stuck in
Oh,
there.
I don't want the flavor.
Hold on. This is
The lucky pick.
I hate bugs, man. They disgust me.
1,
Like,
2, and a 1, 2, 3. Cheers, lads. Cheers, fucking crickets. I lost mine.
oh, so
There's
fucking
plenty more
dry.
over here.
He jumped away. Oh, lovely.
It's not that bad. I'm
No,
telling you.
stop, man. That's fucking gross.
Well, if you were freaking starving in the middle of the desert, you'd be popping these like candy.
That's actually nice.
No.
Told you.
The salt and chili grasshopper.
Yeah, it's like a. Ooh. Oh, I swear to God, that's nice.
No, it's
Yeah,
not.
it's not
nice.
bad,
You
right?
Fucking no.
Just
You're
take
But
a
here-
little bit of sea
Stop.
salt
And
and
use
a
are
bit of,
fucking using the problem. You're going to promote all this. Yeah, is it? Oh, this is actually not that bad.
Using
Next
the
time we're
problem.
eating
I'm gonna
fucking
start my
cricket
own
bread.
grasshopper farm.
free
Sick.
crickets.
So,
No. Dollar crickets.
Oh,
Inflation.
Inflation.
so I mentioned this to you before the show started, Brian. There's actually a company, a Finnish company, so from Finland, who started creating a cricket-based bread.
You were saying.
So it's like a protein bread made with crickets.
I think I'd eat that.
I would after
I
that.
definitely sell it.
Little
I mean,
salt.
I still have that fucking nasty cricket flavor in my mouth. How can you sit there and be like,
I'd eat that.
No.
I buy this multi-cream bread that's
No.
like 10 grams per slice protein.
I feel
just
like I
for my
want to put the whole
protein.
thing in a blender and put it on a little sea bass or something.
I'm
Little
telling
sea
you.
bass.
Cricket crust.
Cricketed
Disgusting.
crust. Jiminy sea bass.
You should have a cocktail. Jiminy Crickets. Fucking, I don't know what you're going to do with that.
chimney crickets?
Maybe
cricket?
that could have replaced the capers in a nice fish
Funny,
sauce.
I was actually gonna make a.
Ooh, yeah.
I was gonna make a cocktail with a garnish.
You'd have
for the
to,
chili
yeah.
cricket. Call
Make
it
a
the
little
Oaxacan
broth out of this or
grasshopper.
something. Yeah, 100%.
Jiminy Cricket sea bass is not a bad name to put on the menu with
Right?
some crickets, man.
So
We spoke about inflation and prices going up, but I think another thing that people don't know enough about is how all the food processing plants this year have been mysteriously burning down.
yeah,
You know a lot about this, Dan.
man, there's been food processing plants all across the world burning down at a crazy rate. In America, they're burning down like nothing. The biggest one in Paris, definitely France, but I'm pretty sure it's Paris, is like one of the largest food processing plants in the whole of Europe burnt down only there about 4 weeks ago.
Global warming.
Man, I
No.
hope it's not global
Yeah,
warming.
the temperature went up in Paris by 1 degree, so
I
the
don't-
food processing plant just
Nah,
burnt
it's
down.
not. It's not global warming.
I have a question for you guys.
I think you're joking.
Do you guys recall? I mean, we all in our late 20s, 30s, early 30s here. We've had heat waves, right? 106 degrees. Like you guys all remember these heat waves and everything. I've never heard of a damn cow dropping dead in those heat waves that passed. This
not at the
past-
rate that happened this year.
No, I've never heard of a cow dropping dead because of heat. Anything. Like it was
Man,
never
they have
the
cows in
news.
Africa.
That's what I understood. So when this new thing came out, first it was the factories burning all these chicken. We had the chicken shortage. You couldn't get wings. You couldn't get anything. We had a shortage on wings, but we didn't have a shortage on thighs. Like different things like that.
Really weird.
And then all of a sudden, the cows start passing out and dying. That's never happened. I mean, I've been in heat temperatures and heat waves and all that. I've never heard of that happening. What I do know is Bill Gates bought up most of the farmland in the U.S., okay? All the farmland, I think he owns half of the farmland in the U.S. I would say, call me a conspiracy theorist, call me whatever you want. I think it's a hidden agenda to get us moving towards
Crickets.
supplemental things like that, where they control what we're eating and they don't want us eating
Man,
off the ground
What's
anymore.
the book, Jimmy B? 1984?
Yeah.
1984. I'm
By
pretty
George
sure
Orwell.
that they're eating bug bars.
Yeah, that's you bring up a good point. There's a movie actually where you can watch. It's called Snowpiercer. It's actually on Netflix.
I love that movie.
Yeah, it's great.
Great
but
movie.
in that, it's basically about a class system, and at the real quick, so everybody's on a train. It's like the last days of the human race. For everybody to survive, everybody had to make their way onto this train.
Essentially Noah's Ark.
Yes.
Very, very similar to Noah's Ark, actually. Great point. And then over the course of time, it has divided itself up into different class systems. The first car is like the leadership. Then you have the elites, and it goes all the way down to the end. But the people at the end is the majority. And the majority eat these protein bars that they basically just bring in every day. And everybody's like, oh my God, I'm so hungry to eat the protein bars. Start a rebellion as one of the guys starts progressing up the train. They come
Protein
across
bars
the
are made out
factory.
of bugs.
Yes. They come across the factory. He looks into where the protein bars are made of. It's all like crickets and cockroaches and fucking nasty bugs. And he's freaking out. And everybody's just like eating these protein bars. And it's like,
And then as you get up to the front of the cart, they've got fresh sushi, they've got fish
Steak.
floating around, steak, everything that's going
But
on.
That is
if you
nuts,
look,
isn't it?
but it is. But it's also a thing of like, right? They're pushing this sort of thing into schools, right?
Yeah.
In schools all across the world, they're pushing this right now, and understandably, it's been in some cuisines for a long time. Like I know that they eat it in Thailand, India. Some places have been eating like insects for a long time, but now they're pushing it in because of inflation, because of apparently how badly the environment's damaged by the agriculture that we're consuming, and they're pushing these type of sustainable options in instead. And they are, as Rob said, there could be an agenda where, there's food processing plants burning down at a crazy rate that never happened before. And there's cows dropping dead everywhere. And it happens coincided with the push of vegan or insects being pushed for protein. So there is right now a big, what if someone wanted to do this? What if there was someone who planned to do this, essentially?
Even so, it even got to the point where I don't know if anyone's familiar with the Amish people, the Amish culture, but that's a religion.
Yeah.
And the government right now is telling them that they cannot produce cattle. That
Yeah.
they should not be cattle.
So what's going on with the Amish people is, right? So the Amish people essentially raise all their own livestock, right? Now, raising the livestock's not a problem. Butchering the livestock is the problem, because the FDA wants all meat that's been sold or consumed to go through FDA approval. Now, the Amish people, they've been raising their own livestock for a long time and butchering it. And actually, they've done tests on their livestock when it's raw, has 100 times lower bacteria rate than what you would get out of an FDA food processing plant, right? So there's way less bacteria on this meat, which shows that they're doing it in a much actual cleaner way than whatever's going on in these huge, manufacturing farms. And, so really what they're trying to say is this isn't it's not less healthy, and it's not more risky if there's less bacteria. But what it is doing is it's taking one person and making them sustainable, or making a whole category of people they're taken out of, essentially, like this big loop that's been created by the FDA with the food plants, with the farming. Because even for farming right now, you have to be part of a union to farm, right? And the union is run by big corporations, right? They decide who gets in and out of it. And even to do organic farming, it's the same thing. So the Amish people essentially are doing it outside of the loop, and many of them being brought to court and getting like huge fines, and essentially like facing jail time for their religion, which is raising livestock off the grid, is the problem with it, right? They're off the grid raising livestock and butchering it, and it's supplying it to a community. That's the problem, is they don't want you supplying to a community without regulation, right? And it's understandable, because the FDA wants health but when they can show that there's a much lower count of bacteria on their meat than there is out of meat that you get from these plants, now it's kind of the pot calling the kettle black situation.
Yeah, it's going to take a huge movement from restaurants to get to where they should be. It's like recycling. The first few years I was here, there was no recycling bins. Everything was just launched into the same one. Now it's like recycling's everywhere. You have a recycling bin and you have your garbage, you know what I mean? It's like that type of huge movement that needs to take place. And as I was saying to Jimmy there, like, there's a Michelin star restaurant, Madison 11, right? Mm-hmm. And they're sustainable and they're vegan and they still have their Michelin star. So it can be done, but it's just going to take a lot of time.
I'm sorry, I like to eat protein. I like my meat.
Man,
I can't imagine paying $300.
I'm
for
dreaming of a Wagyu slider right now.
I got you a little bit.
I personally, I want to go and check out the 11 Madison. I tried to book it actually for next March, because they have like a wait. So I'm in there to go there next March to check it out, the vegan. But I'm not looking forward. Unfortunately, I'm going to go for the experience, but I'm not looking forward to paying that much for no protein. But I am going to check it out, because I think
it's going to be class.
Yeah,
bro.
no matter
It's gonna
what,
be
they're going to be
class.
able to create like unbelievable flavors and an unbelievable experience. It's just a lot of money to pay for. No, but you know what? Every restaurant at that level is going to be a lot of money. So it is what it is. You're doing it for the experience. But touching on the point of recycling, did any of us ever see the documentary showing where the recycling, nothing actually gets recycled?
Jeez, I don't even think I want to watch that.
That's like
shit.
the
It's the saddest documentary you'll ever watch, man. Because what it is the the actual plastics, they can't be melted back together because all the plastics are made from different chemicals, right? So if you get a milk carton and I get a bottle of Coke, it's all different chemicals. So they can't melt that back together and use it. So what actually happens is they send it all to a recycling center. The recycling center sorts it into ones that we can melt back together and ones that we can't. 90% of it can't be, right? No plastic bag.
So
ever.
what happens to that 90%?
I'll explain it to you, man. No plastic bag has ever been recycled. They can't recycle plastic bags. Ever. Never, 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 right? So that's why they cut them out, because they can't be recycled. It's not just that they don't want them being used. It's that they can't be recycled, right? So the 90% that they can't, you know what happens to it? It's the craziest thing. You should watch this documentary and we'll plug it into the bio on this. But, right, they send it to China. And China sends it to Taiwan.
Jeez.
That's what happens, man. And then they ship it into the middle of the ocean or they burn it. They can't recycle the plastics because none of the people who are making. Here's the problem with recycling is, right? It's the recycling is being put on us to do, which I have no problem playing my part. But unfortunately, I don't create any of this. The people creating it aren't coinciding, are banding together to help recycle. If they were, what would happen is they'd have to all use the exact same structure of plastic so that it could all be recycled. But they're all using so many different types of plastic, right, that none of it can be melted back together, only with the same type. And they don't sort through it to get all the same type together, right? So what happens is they just burn it. Or else they ship it to Taiwan. They sell it. Man, they every day they ship tons and tons and tons of recyclable waste to China. China stopped taking it like 2 years ago. So now they ship it to Taiwan. And Taiwan just burns it.
So what the fuck are we recycling for?
Because
We're
it makes
not.
everybody feel like they're doing their part.
But have you ever heard that phrase where it's like, there's not really a solution to problems, it's just an alternative?
Yeah.
So
But-
that's like the same thing with the electric vehicles right now. They're trying to clean the atmosphere by doing electric vehicles. But what people don't understand is that once these batteries die, they don't have a way of recycling those either.
Yeah.
So we're just
And
going to have a
create them,
mass
they need
pile
coal.
of batteries
No way.
Yeah.
in the future just sitting around. Can't be recycled same way, same thing.
And to recharge the batteries, they need coal. They burn coal to recharge the batteries, like when you plug it in. But the main problem with the plastic that I find crazy is that, like, just like you said, I thought I was recycling for years. And then I seen this documentary and I looked into it a lot and I'm like, this is exactly what they do. They can't, I didn't realize that the chemical compounds that's used to create this are so different, right? That at a molecular level, they can't band it back together because it's all different chemicals. It's like, it's not just melted down and put it back together. Like if it was all gold, you just melt it back together in a big pot, put it back together, reuse it, make new rings. Basically, they can't do this. So all of the straws are different than all of the cartons of milk that are different to all the bottles of Coke that are different.
So in the perfect world, we'd have 25 garbage cans, one for straws,
No,
one for Coke
man,
bottles, one
in
for
the-
Sprite bottles.
In the perfect world, the people who are the people who have factories and create all this stuff would work together incognito to make a solution or a set. Right, I might have waste because I bought strawberries, but you sold me strawberries and you sold me strawberries in this plastic container. You're selling it to me. Of course I'm buying it, but I'm only buying it because it's on sale. Essentially, why do all the people who are not selling plummets of strawberries, why do they not have a better solution to it? Why are they not using something that's biodegradable?
Yeah.
Why are you selling me something that can't be recycled and then fining me when I put the wrong thing in the wrong bin that you're not recycling anyway? If you go down to Yonkers, they have the recycling center. Go in and ask them. You can go in. I drive by it all the time. It's right on the 87. If you go in there, right, you'll see that they just put into big, huge blocks. They press together what can't be recycled, and then they ship it off to get burnt. But the problem is that the people manufacturing and making all the money aren't working towards the solution. They're blaming us when they're creating the problem, essentially, right?
Bait and switch.
100%. Like, you go back to Ireland. Remember when you used to get your chips and it used to be just wrapped in a newspaper?
Yeah.
Right? Why you not just sell me like it in recycled newspaper? Or, you know, I don't have the solution, but they're not looking for the solution. They're just trying to make more money. You know?
Vinegar everywhere.
Vinegar everywhere. The best.
Dripping on
Those
me
are the
shoes.
days.
Those are the days. Man, the recycling, but these are the things that they have to work on to get better. because everything that we buy in a restaurant comes wrapped in plastic. And then inside the plastic itself, you have tons of chemicals that are rubbing off on the food that are harmful to, we're only finding out all this now. It's like, it's harmful to your
Reproductive system.
your
I'd
reproductive
say
system.
our kids are in trouble.
No, we actually have plastic particles floating around in our bloodstream.
Yeah, 100%.
That's how bad it is.
100%. But at the same time, there is no solution. It's like, it's either you want this here and now. Like, you want your crickets, but it's in plastic. So unfortunately, you're going to be eating crickets
Don't
with some
shake those
plastic in
things
it.
at me.
But you know what? Like, that's why we're getting better going towards the future, you know, because there are people with great minds thinking on the solutions for these things.
They want to
But
hurry up.
They would, but it's the people who are greedy, who are selling it,
Oh yes, for so cheap.
and they're the ones who are
Probably have to go to court for all this.
100%, and then they're lobbying some of the money into the FDA, and it's like, oh well, I can keep selling this in this container as long as I pay this percentage to these people, But at the same time, you're right, it will affect our kids' and stuff. It's affecting the sperm count is down by like 60% in the last 40 years. There's a lady called Dr. Shayna Swan she wrote a book on it, and she's doing a documentary on it. And
It's called like The Countdown or something.
Mary Swanson.
Mary Swanson.
Swanson.
But she basically said how, and she specifically talked about in restaurants and stuff, like every single thing that we eat at some point is wrapped in plastic. The phthalates coming from the plastic are affecting everybody's reproductive systems, and that's why it's so hard to have kids now compared to when it was. But unfortunately, if you want a milkshake, it is what you want a milkshake. It is what it is.
Actually on special here today.
Yeah, come get your special milkshake. Well, listen, lads.
Yeah, we gotta start wrapping up.
We should definitely wrap up before we get too crazy here.
Yeah, we're moving that direction.
Lads, thanks very much for having me. It was a fucking pleasure.
Bran,
I now love crickets.
man, listen, you're gonna love them even more when we start sprinkling them on your cakes. But
Thanks for coming on, man. It was great.
Sound
It was
boys.
great.
it was a pleasure to have Bran today. If you want to check him out, go down to Jack's Bar in Eastchester, the best place in Eastchester, in my opinion. Barada hasn't a patch. And
We're open, by the way, right now. I'll see you there.
come down and check them out. Use our on Instagram.
On Instagram, yeah. Follow us, Jack's Bar at Eastchester. It's something for everyone. It's family, it's late night. It's pretty much all you want. Brunch.
Man, it's the best place I've eaten in Eastchester anyway. So, lads, thank you for another episode of the Naked and Famous podcast.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Like,
Thank you, guys.
subscribe, follow us.
Follow the shit out
We're
of
on
it, lads.
YouTube. We're on Spotify. Come check us out.